Wait, so I'm the only one here who has no idea about UI UX design. Please don't gang up on me.
I'm not gonna promise anything.
That. Welcome to the Design Takeaway. This audio based food is aimed to help everyone who is about to take their first step into the design life. We will unveil ideas, insights, thoughts, and experience inside the world of design and its application in the industry through fun and easy conversation. All you need to do is sit back, grab a bite, and put your headphones on. And most importantly, take what you need. Get your snacks ready. We're in episode 4.
Hello, welcome back to Design Takeaway. It's Trisha and Pia.
I hope you guys are excited because today we'll be snacking on UI UX with our special guest.
Just in time, I'm a little bit hungry right now. But before we start snacking, why don't you introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Joesak, or you can call me like Joesak or Joesak. I'm currently working as a product designer in a Singaporean company. Actually, my background is from graphic design, but somehow I shifted my career and became a UI UX, or you can call it like product design.
Cool. Can you share a bit about your experience in UI UX design?
So I got into UI UX back in my fourth year. I mean, like my fourth semester in college. Like I said before, even though my major was in graphic design, we had some seminars on UI UX from my uni. Like it features like speakers from Tokopedia. So Tokopedia is one of the big players in Indonesian economy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice. Back in my year, none of the lecturer guided the students to learn about UI UX, even though our project revolved around screen designing.
Oh, really? I got lucky then. Maybe it's because the UI
Yeah.
UX scene was blowing up in Indonesia at that time, and it's opening up some great career opportunities. That's when I started diving into it on my own, like watching YouTube, reading up Medium, like checking out various websites about UI UX.
Mm.
Ah, how did you get started in the field and what inspired you to become a product designer?
Yeah, so after graduating, I was initially thinking of going into UX design because I was getting a
Mm-hmm.
bit tired of design, honestly. But yeah, long story short, I ended up applying for a UI designer role because that's where my strengths were. Well,
Mm-hmm.
and lucky for me, I landed a gig at one of the like top OTA companies. OTA is like online travel agent in Indonesia as
Oh,
a UI,
uh-huh.
and that's where I learned a lot about UX design. And now I've been working as a full stack product designer for UI UX for almost 4 years.
Wonderful. I
Nice.
think your graphic design degree is not being used now, huh? How about you, Pia?
Yeah, I think it's still used actually. Because the design principles are the same, but the application now
Uh-huh.
is wider UX. Yeah, Fia, my fellow UI UX designer, how did you begin, agent?
So initially, I was going to get a master degree in UI UX right after graduating, but
Uh-huh.
back then UI UX wasn't as famous as graphic design. My parents got worried, thinking that I was interested because I was influenced by the trend, and told me to prove myself first, like whether I was really interested in that field or not. So at first,
Uh-huh.
I planned to convince them by getting a 1 year experience as a graphic designer. I somehow thought that I wouldn't like being a graphic designer and then told my parents that I was serious about getting a UI UX master degree.
Wait, don't you have 2 years of experience as a graphic designer?
Yeah, I stayed too long. After 2 years, I asked to be moved to the product division and somehow made it.
That's where
Uh-huh.
we say when there's a will, there's a way.
True.
Wait, so I'm the only one here who has no idea about UI UX design. Please don't gang up on me.
I'm not gonna promise anything.
That. So, from your perspective, why is digital design so important in today's technological landscape?
Yeah, it's 2024 now, like these days everything's gone digital, like
True.
groceries, food delivery, shopping, school, you name it. It's all happening online. Digital design is everywhere in our daily lives. It makes
Mhm.
our life easier. And as we move into a future that's even more digital, nailing digital design becomes the key, like to smooth out everyday hurdles effortlessly.
Mhm. My new hobby after moving to this bloody cold country is to get groceries online. It's better
Oh,
to
yeah.
pay a quid rather than freezing while carrying the groceries.
Yeah, we have a 7 minute delivery for groceries.
Nice.
Ah, I used to use that a lot. Anyway, I've been looking at the phenomenon that UI UX design has gained significant popularity in recent years. In your opinion, what factors contribute to this urge in interest?
There's a bunch of stuff playing into this. Like smartphones
Mm-hmm,
are all over the place right now, and with the internet just with that like a tap away, businesses
mm-hmm.
are jumping on opportunities left and right. Like the real
Mm.
deal is having that competitive edge, and that's where UI UX steps in. Like your UI UX has to be top notch to make a mark.
True.
Mm-hmm.
Companies are practically on hunt for UX designers. Like the whole scene is blowing up, and it's not just designers getting into it, but even folks from non-design background related are also jumping on the UI UX design. It's really crazy right now.
I found people from other background as well when I took UX design class in Purwadika. It's not even online back then, but people still make their time to learn.
Really?
Yes, well, mostly from an IT background. Some are marketing, but I heard some people from architecture and industrial engineering also find their way to UI UX.
So, Yusuf, in your observation, how does the current digital landscape, including advancement in technology, influence the growing importance of UI UX?
Yeah, UI UX is getting more and more crucial, like as the tech keeps on advancing. Have you seen what Apple just dropped? Like their Apple Vision Pro.
Oh,
The Vision Pro is like taking a digital design to a whole new level. They are calling it spatial computing, if you ever heard that. Like it's like diving into
Wow,
a dimension.
I never heard of it before.
yeah, I'm curious now. I'm going to Google this for a bit.
Yeah, totally. It's really cool. This kind of thing has never been around before. Like the tech behind it, along with the UI UX, is really crucial for giving users like an immersive experience. And with
Mhm.
all sorts of like the media popping up, UI UX is like the glue, like making sure the user journey stays smooth, steady, and like user friendly, of course.
Mm.
Mhm. Why do you think user-centered design is crucial in UI UX, and how does it enhance the overall user experience?
Yeah, of course, like user-centered design is really crucial because, like just by its name, like UI, UX, user interface and user experience both have the word user in there. So when we design, it's really essential to approach it like from the user's perspective.
All right, it's a design created for the user.
Yeah, you gotta get inside the user's head, understanding
Mhm.
what they need and what bugs them is that like the secret sauce to solve their problems. And
Mm.
as UX designers, the last thing we want is a product that nobody can figure out. So talking
Mhm.
to users, get the lowdown on their problems, that's really the game changer because it allows us to create the best possible solutions based on a real understanding of their experiences. Because let's face it, if not user friendly, nobody's going to bother with it. And that's not just like a user thing, it's really big deal for the business.
And why is that?
Well, like after all, a smooth user experience is what keeps people coming back, and that's a goal for any business.
I remember there's this certain game. I forgot the name, but people from my circle play it except me. But then I saw some people complaining online about the interface, including my friend. She dropped the game in the end.
So,
Yeah.
guys, I heard UI UX trends evolve rapidly. How do you stay updated with the latest design trends, and how do these trends influence your work?
Honestly, I'm not the type of designer who obsessively follow trends because I think
Mhm.
they come pretty quickly. But I do stay updated on current trends to Twitter or well, X. I follow some international designers who regularly share and showcase their designs. And I also come across like many recommended tweets related to design work.
Oh, me too. Except for the tweet part because I'm not a Twitter person.
Where do you find inspiration then?
Mostly on Instagram. I followed a bunch of international designer. So my idea is to follow lots of them so I can see them when I'm scrolling my feeds. I get lazy sometimes, so that way I could force myself to learn. And LinkedIn too. I think people are starting to use LinkedIn as a sharing platform as well. I get to see lots of people's project and learn from there.
You're an Insta girl now.
Yeah.
Yeah, as for whether like these trends influence my work, I would say maybe not that much. If like a particular design style suits the project I'm working on, I'll give it a
Mm-hmm.
shot. But I don't really force everything to conform to the trend because the most important thing is always paying attention to usability. It's like ensuring that the design is user friendly, but it has to be practical.
True. To be honest, I don't think we can apply trends except in our personal project because, first of all, we need to follow the design system in our workplace. And as you said, they come and go quickly.
I find that UI UX often involves collaboration with various teams like product owners, UX researcher, UX writers, and developers. How do you approach communication and collaboration to ensure a cohesive design process?
Yeah, absolutely. Like as a UI UX designer, we always collaborate with product managers, researchers, writers, and engineers.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the most crucial aspect of working together is maintaining an open, like, and also like effective communication.
Mm-hmm.
So in my case, we have a routine of daily meetings, like weekly meetings, and also retro. That's all like to ensure everyone is on the same page regarding our goals, timelines, and also like, expectations.
Mm-hmm.
So giving and receiving feedback from each other is incredibly like valuable. For instance, like when I start on a project, I usually brainstorm with the PM like to determine the solutions we want to pursue. And after
Mm-hmm.
designing it, I typically present my work to the PM, and then they will provide the feedback and also like the other stakeholders.
Yeah, mine is similar. So, my workplace has a few product teams, and each team is in charge of different projects. For example, Team A is in charge of developing the app, and B is in charge of the website. Mine is CRM team, and it's in charge of developing the company CRM platform for internal use. So the team is a bit smaller and a bit laid back compared to the others. After the project brief, we usually contact each other through chat, except if there's something that I need to discuss with them through calls, then I'll ask for a meeting. But other teams do have meetings every day. One thing that I would like to add, and that is to treat the other people that you collaborated with that you work with as a friend or just befriend them to break the ice because I think work is a lot smoother if you're on a friendly terms with people. But this is
Mm-hmm.
only work if the other party is not an asshole.
So, it is safe to say that every field has its challenge. What
Yeah.
are some common challenges you face as a UI UX designer, and how do you overcome them?
I'm currently like a solo designer in my company. So my main challenges is revolves around like time management. There are
Ah,
numerous projects planned by the PM, so I have to manage my time like efficiently to deliver them.
I feel you. I wasn't solo back then, but it's only me and my junior. I do have a supervisor, but it's mainly just the two of us. In the end, I ended up managing the deadline myself.
Yeah, and another challenge is that sometimes the PM approaches me with like a solution already in his mind, but after I analyzed it, it seems like the solutions they propose is like disconnected from the actual problem, and the PM
Oh.
lacks the data on why like they came up with that solution, and the PM lacks data on why they came up with that solution. This
Mm.
sometimes leads to disagreements between the PM and me. So usually in such situations, I ask for the data behind their solution, or I suggest validating the problem first, like directly with our users, because like
that's nice.
asking like users about their specific issues can guide us in finding the best solutions. So for me, effective communication skills are really crucial to engage in a healthy argument. So you cannot just take the raw instructions from the PM and do it directly. But as a designer, you also have to think about whether it makes sense or not, whether it solves the right problem or not.
Correct.
Something similar happened to me as well. Oh, something similar happened to me as well. I had this argument with my product owner. We were chill, but it was more it was more like a healthy and friendly discussion. But maybe because she doesn't have a product design background, she doesn't have the understanding to make an effective flow towards it. So she created the flow based on her assumption.
And then what happened?
Well, I tried my best, but I couldn't convince her. So I told my supervisor about this, and basically, my supervisor told the product owner a similar thing that I said, but it was solved quickly because the product owner is a bit afraid of my supervisor because he looks strict, even though he's actually a very kind and helpful person. It's just his looks.
Wow, that's so sneaky.
Yeah.
Work smart, not hard, they say.
Then, how do you balance the aesthetic appeal with functionality when designing user interfaces?
Yeah, for me, balancing aesthetic appeal with functionality is about applying design principles. It's not just like the principles in graphic design, but also in UX design. For
True.
example, from the graphic design, we'll learn about white space, typography, hierarchy, color, and so on. And like from the UX design, we learn about common UI UX patterns, responsiveness, user-centered design, usability, and whatnot. So by learning all of that, it eventually becomes like your second nature. So when I design, I just need to apply this principle. Perhaps maybe the challenge for me is sometimes like I want to create a visually appealing design with solid usability, but it can be challenging to implement it by the engineers. So I might need to adjust the design to lower the aesthetic a bit, but of course without sacrificing the usability. Because at the end of the day, usability is like the most important thing. Because if the user cannot use it, then it's useless.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Few times when I need to adjust my design as well because it's hard to be implemented by the engineer.
Seems like you guys have a few similar experience, but what about the go-to tools and technologies? Do you guys have some? And how do they contribute to your workflow efficiency?
Figma.
Yeah, it's the same for me. For design interfaces, I use Figma. It's incredibly easy and seamless to use. And
True.
as for device, I use a MacBook Pro because it has like the most accurate colors, and this is very
Yeah.
important for me. And the other software that I use is Adobe Photoshop. I use Photoshop to like create a 3D mockup, like a phone mockup, for example.
You use Photoshop as well, Via?
I don't use Photoshop. I mainly use Figma and sometimes Adobe Illustrator, but that's if I need to create a new icon. But I'm curious, it's been a while since I got updated with the world of product designing. Are there any new tools or technologies that you've recently integrated into your design process?
Yeah, absolutely. Like ever since AI, especially the ChatGPT came into play, I've been
Oh,
all over it, like every single day. It's my go-to like for whipping up my copy, helping out with my research, getting interview stuff ready, like brainstorming sessions, you name it. And seriously, it's like a total time saver. It's like having my own little personal assistant.
I should have done that. My team doesn't have a UX writer, so sometimes I help with the UX writing myself.
That's bad. For aspiring UI UX designer, what advice would you give them to succeed in the field?
I believe there will be a lot of advice, but in general, the most important thing is never to stop learning. Like especially in the rapidly evolving field of technology, if we cannot like catch up and adapt well, we will like undoubtedly fall behind. So my suggestion to make learning easier is to focus like one thing at a time.
Right.
It's easy to say, hard to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. For example, if like you want to strengthen your UI design, you should delve into how to create a good UI design thoroughly. And if you like want to enhance your UX design, you can learn the principles of good UX. Like identify where your strengths lie because that will be your like competitive advantage over the other designers. And what is incredibly important too is to have a strong design thinking mindset, I would say. Like it's not
Mm.
just about creating a visually appealing design, it's about solving the right problem with the right solution. Also, the last one is maybe communication skills. I think communication skills are really crucial, like to effectively communicate with your stakeholders and also like communicate with your users.
Oh, so since you already dive deep into this world of product design, are there any key lessons or experience from your career that you believe would benefit those entering the product design domain?
Yeah, it's kind of like what I mentioned earlier. Having a competitive advantage over the other designers is really crucial for your career because nowadays a lot of people are getting into the UI UX. You can see tons of boot camps popping up for UI UX, especially
True.
now. like the supply is increasing, but the demand is shrinking because of the current tech winter condition that is happening.
Right, I heard about the situation from a friend. Some of my previous workmates even got dismissed from their position.
What? Is it that bad?
Yeah, and that's why to really succeed, you need like expertise that sets you apart from others. For example,
Mm,
if you can design UI UX, also you can like create animations or motion graphics, that will be your competitive advantage because you're
yeah.
not just creating static UI UX, but you can also make it like interactive. And if we
Uh-huh.
talk about careers in general, soft skills are super important too. Things like communication skills, negotiating skills, time management, and so on. Because when
Uh-huh.
you work, you're not working alone, but you're working with a team. So I think having a good teamwork is really essential.
True. Man, discussing with you made me remember the good old days of working as UI UX designer. Kinda miss it.
Mhm.
Should we end our snack time today? I'm a bit interested to learn UI UX design now. Maybe I'll start by reading a few articles on the medium.
Good idea. I think we should end this. Thank you for sharing with us today. I get updated a lot and inspired a lot.
Thank you. It was a delicious snacking session. I feel it's made out of protein bars because it's so filling.
Yeah.
I had a good time lunching with you all. Hopefully, this sparks some deeper thoughts and inspiration for anyone who hears it.
Yeah, and as always, take what you need.
Bye bye.